You ever hear the sound a .50 cal makes when it cracks the silence of an Afghan valley? It's not like in the movie there's no drawn-out echo, just this whip crack that cuts right through your chest, and suddenly a Navy SEAL who was alive 3 seconds ago is flat on his back, staring at the sky. That's how quick things go bad over there. We've been pinned down for what felt like a lifetime sniper up on Ridge 7, some ghost with an invisible hand. I'd lost count of the men I'd watched fall, thinking, this is it, this is where my story ends, in a country that doesn't care and a war nobody back home even understands anymore. Our extraction bird was late, we were bleeding out, and then swear to God this voice comes over the radio. Cool as you please. Tango's down. Extraction path clear. This is Ghost Hunter. You're welcome, boys. And here's the part nobody believes until I tell them Slow the voice was a woman. Yeah. Never met her, didn't see her, but she saved our asses that day, and just hearing her talk, you knew the perfect shot doesn't just happen. Somebody has to become it. Flash forward a year. I'm back on Coronado, baking under the California sun, standing in line with a dozen SEALs, listening to Master Chief Wilson, old Granite himself, laying to us about science, not luck. He's got this legend about the 1,200-meter target out at the edge of the range. Says he put a round dead center there 2 decades ago, and nobody's topped him since. Every new guy who cycles through has to hear the story, stand in awe, and swear on their trident that maybe, just maybe, they'll be the one to outshoot the old man. Wilson's face could have been carved from desert stone. He used to talk about Iraq, about that first kill at 800 meters, how time just slows down, how the world falls away until it's just you, the wind, and the shot. Then, out of nowhere, this woman walks onto the line civvies, boots, windbreaker, hair in a ponytail, not a speck of sweat on her. The new sniper starts snickering, thinking it's some lost tourist. Wilson steps up, all gravel and command. Ma'am, this is a restricted area. She just looks at him with these storm gray eyes that make you feel like she's reading a page from her childhood diary. I'm not lost, Master Sergeant, she says, and right there he stiffens. Nobody calls him by his old rank. She's here to break his record, she says, and half the team starts snorting, waiting for the punchline. Except when she introduces herself, Lieutenant Alexis Morgan, 75th Rangers. Wilson's jaw actually drops. She's Mark Morgan's daughter. Phantom Morgan, the only sniper who ever outshot Wilson, who died a legend in Mogadishu. Suddenly, nobody's laughing. Reynolds, our sharpshooting SEAL, tries to play gatekeeper, but Alexis is all steel and poise. She says she's here to cross-train, learn from SEALs, teach a little Ranger doctrine in return. Brooks, our resident boxer, cracks a joke about cross-pollination, and Wilson nearly buries him on the spot. Wilson's voice softens when he hears her last name. He tells her he served with her father in 3 theaters. Alexis nods. He spoke highly of you in his letters home. The room goes silent. The Barrett .50 rests on the table like a sleeping dragon, 29 pounds of death. A scope worth more than my old pickup, each round a promise nobody wants to keep. Wilson asks if she knows the Barrett. She handles it like she's caressing an old friend chamber, barrel, scope rattling off specs faster than most guys can read a menu. The way she talks about wind drift, harmonics, custom triggers, you know she's got the DNA for this. And you know the moment is coming. Wilson tells her, real quiet, that her father saved his life in Somalia, covered the extraction after the second Black Hawk went down. She knows. She says her dad kept journals, passed them down when she joined up, full of secrets, calculations, the kind of stuff soldiers die for. Wilson tells her something he's never said out loud. The night before Mark died, he whispered about a traitor in the ranks, someone who sold out their positions to the enemy. Mark was going to bring the evidence back. He never got the chance. Alexis's face goes hard as steel. Her father's death wasn't just the cost of where it was a setup. Reynolds can't help himself. Where'd you learn to shoot like that? Alexis doesn't blink. Started at 14, taught by a friend of my father's sex SEAL. My childhood ended in 1993. You feel that chill? That's what legacy feels like. Wilson gives her a rundown for the newbies. She's been a counter sniper in Afghanistan and Syria, racked up kills, lived in the dirt, lost plenty. Reynolds, who never gives anyone an inch, tries to poke a hole in her confidence. She tells him, "Let me show you." So, the range clears out, the air thick with testosterone and curiosity, and Alexis steps up to take her shot at the legendary 1,200-meter target. Instead of just eyeballing it, she whips out a Kestrel, checks wind, temp, humiditados, and trust luck, trust math. She's got this old, battered notebook her dad's, full of ballistic calculations in. She's muttering about harmonic balancing, something she learned from a Russian who owed her father his life. It's a method for reading the vibrations of the barrel, stuff I'd only heard about in bar stories. She lines up, breathes, triggers, boom, dead center. Before anyone can even cheer, she cycles the bolt, fires again, double tap, same hole. 2 shots, one impossible legend shattered. Every jaw on that range drops. Brooks and Reynolds just stare stunned. Wilson finally lets the ghost of a smile slip. "Mark would be proud," he says. And right then, just when it feels like the world stopped, tread, lights flash, alarms wail. Commander Richards, the only woman I ever saw walk into a room and make SEALs freeze, comes barreling in. Hostage situation on the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, 12 Americans, high value, at least 8 hostile snipers. "We got 30 minutes to roll." Richards looks Alexis dead in the eye. "Your skills are now mission critical." I'm thinking, okay, is this fate or setup? Turns out both. We pile into the command room, maps and drone feeds everywhere, everyone shouting, thinking, planning. Richards pulls up the lead bad guy, a contractor turned terrorist called the Surgeon, ex-CIA, sniper killer. Alexis's whole face goes cold. She's been hunting this ghost for 3 years. Turns out, he killed her mother, too. This is more than a mission. It's the family curse. We get the rundown. The compound is a fortress, overwatched by 8 marksmen, interlocking fire zones. No way in without getting chewed up. Alexis lays out a plan, take out the snipers one by one in a sequence that creates a shadow corridor, a blind spot, so our team can rush in. Hayes, our field lead, doubts her at first, but the logic is airtight, and you can see respect click into place. Twist is there's a 9th sniper position, hidden insurance. Alexis spots it in the satellite, feeds a cave with perfect sight lines. The range is insane too, 300 meters. She just nods. "Not beyond my reach." And you start to believe her. On the plane over, Wilson confesses. Before Mark died, he made Wilson promise to protect his family. Wilson never did, lost touch. Life happened. He's been carrying that guilt ever since. Alexis tells him not to blame himself. The surgeon's the one who killed anyone who gets close. She spent her life training, hunting, learning every trick. The Russians taught her the rest barrel harmonics, wind modeling, path segment analysis, stuff that makes you think there's more to sniping than bullets and prayers. The drop goes off like something out of a Tom Clancy fever dream, 30,000 feet. Oxygen masks glide through mountain darkness, 6 shadows cutting through the wind. Alexis breaks off alone to her overwatch. The surgeon is already taunting her over the radio, using her call sign, calling her little ghost. The whole mission is a trap to draw her out. She knows it, but she goes anyway. Dawn breaks. She starts neutralizing the overwatch first shot, 950 meters, clean kill. Moves to the next, then the 3rd, 4th, 5th, each shot more desperate, each move more dangerous. She gets grazed but doesn't slow down. Creates the corridor, team moves, gunfire all around. It's like watching ballet danced with live ammo timing, sweat, pain, genius. When she finally gets to the 8th, she's exposed, can feel the surgeon's crosshairs. Sure enough, he tags her in the shoulder, nearly puts her out for good. Still, she presses on. Team breaches, clears the hostages, almost all of them. The surgeon slips away with the last one, Dr. Chambers, heading for extraction. Alexis, bleeding out, drags herself to a vantage. The range is impossible too, 100 meters. She lines up a shot, not at the man, but at the rock face beside him. Bullet hits, shrapnel distracts, gives Chambers a chance to roll clear. Then, one last duel, her against the surgeon, trading shots at ranges most snipers dream about. Each one wounded, each one firing with every ounce of hate and training and history inside them. She hits him, but he hits her back. She hits him again. He tries to crawl to his helicopter, but Alexis puts the final round in, drops him at the last second. Medics swoop in, grab Alexis off the rocks, get her back to base barely alive. You think that's the end? Nah, it's just the start of the next act. The surgeon's body gives up nothing suicide toxin, classic spook move. But they find a flash drive on him and what it contains. Man, that's the twist nobody saw coming. Turns out, there's a cabal inside the U.S. government admirals, directors, old spooks, guys who played puppet master for decades. The directive, they call themselves. They're the ones who set up Mark Morgan in Somalia. They're the ones who had Alexis's mother killed when she got too close. This whole operation, all these deaths, it was about cleaning up loose ends and burying the truth. Alexis wakes up in the hospital, her arm a ruin. Docs say she'll never shoot again. They try to push her into retirement. But Wilson, who finally found his redemption, hands her a copy of the surgeon's files. This isn't treason, he says. It's what your father would have wanted. They know the directive won't go down quietly. Evidence is already being scrubbed, witnesses silenced. They get Reynolds, the skeptical SEAL, in on the plan. Alexis learns to shoot again, different muscles, new technique, paying her only friend. And then the Senate hearing. The big showdown. She's undercover as Capitol Police, watching Admiral Westfield, the man who gave the orders, the one who started it all. Through her scope, she sees his mask crack, sees the fear when he realizes she's alive. She's here, and she's got the proof. Security goes nuts, but it's too late. The reaction is caught. The files leak. The directive is exposed. But you know how these things go. The war isn't over. The directive has roots that go deep, and you get the sense the game's just begun. Alexis is back at the range, arms still half dead, setting up for one last shot. 500 meters, farther than anyone ever dared before, her father's legacy and her own pain swirling in air. As she sights in, you realize sometimes the impossible shot is the only shot that matters. So tell me, would you have done, standing in her shoes, with the weight of generations on your back and a single bullet left? Justice or revenge? Is there a difference? Let me know what you think, and hell, if you ever find yourself holding that much truth in your hands, would you take the shot? Or would you walk away? Comment where you're watching from. Share your thoughts on right and wrong. And tell me, when the moment comes, do you aim for justice or for the truth nobody wants to hear?